Good afternoon, traders. It is Friday, March 6th, 2020, and the U.S. stock market is closed. I know I've been using the adjective unbelievable a lot lately, but yeah, today was an unbelievable day. In fact, as I'll explain later, I did set some personal records today. And we'll get to that in a second. We had 10, 12 positions yesterday, and we were holding positive just a few $1,000s on those. It didn't mount much. It really didn't look all that great. It was positive, but I think $4,000 or $5,000 or something. And so I was more concerned that this was Friday and it was going to be another one of those rotten Fridays. Fridays have never been very good for me. Well, you can see here, first of all, what happened with the Dow. It gapped way down, opening around negative 700. And here on the chart, by the second 15-minute bar, it hit the low, and it was down 900 and something. I don't think it ever went negative 1,000, but it was 900 and something down here. And so this was our opening, and those positions we had from yesterday, they were only worth $4,000 or $5,000. They opened at $84,000 positive. 84,000, and my jaw just dropped. Now 84,000 just by itself, I think that's a record. I don't think I've ever had an opening at 84,000 or better before. But then as the day progressed, things started getting better and better. And even though the Dow was coming up here, our equity got better. And there was so much going on. I can't remember exactly, but I think part of that had to do that we had inverse positions in stocks, in TVIX and UVXY, but we also had inverse positions in 3 energy, basically crude oil stuff. And that was DRIP, DWT, and ERY. And I think those are what was driving a lot of our equity gains. And then, as I show you, we had Inovio Pharmaceuticals was going crazy too today. So all these things combined, and with 67 minutes to go, I took a screenshot of it, and I'm putting it on the website. Our open trade equity was over $145,000. So we had gone from $3,000-$4,000 yesterday on the close to $145,000 plus with 67 minutes to go. Just unbelievable. And then you can see over here the Dow, when it's down here with a little less than an hour to go, it's probably negative 900 or 875 or something down here. But in this last hour, it has a humongous rally and takes off there and closes here, officially closing negative 256. That's almost a respectable close for the day for the Dow. And that trimmed our equity, actually not by as much as I thought it would, but we went from this $145,000 with 67 minutes to go to $106,000 on the close. And that's where we are right now in open trade going into the over the weekend and into next Monday. So, yeah, it just takes my breath away. And I have no idea what's going to happen on Monday. This is being driven by this coronavirus fears, and you just don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I will say I'd much rather be short, as we are now, than long. And I think we'll probably do pretty well on Monday, but we got to be prepared for the fact we could see our equity cut even more. We could, if we had a terrible open for the Dow on Monday, and that could happen too, we could see $200,000. And I've never seen anything close to that. And I've never seen $145,000 in open equity before either. So this is just one of those days. I'm kind of babbling here. My knees are shaking, and I'm speechless. But pretty unbelievable. Let me show you three of the stocks that might kind of represent some of the stuff that was going on. This one, this is not an inverse position. This is just a regular stock that just happens to be working, the company's working with the coronavirus vaccine. And that makes this as volatile as anything. You recall back 2 days ago, we exited this stock there, taking a humongous, what was that? I wrote that down someplace. $32,000 in profit right here in INO, Inovio Pharmaceuticals. And we stayed out of that the rest of that day. But yesterday, this thing starts rallying again, and we buy it here, right there, with about an hour to go. And it actually closed slightly negative against us. But what happens this morning, it does another big gap up. And we are up to about $20,000, I think, up here on the open. But it comes back down, and we're stopped out. We're stopped out right there. And so, let's see. I'm sorry. I hope we're stopped out right there. And we're stopped out with $9,000. $9,000. But then within 30 minutes, we're re-entered into this thing. And it starts rallying again. And up here, we're back up over $20,000 in this thing. And then it backs off. And where it closed, we're up $12,000 in open trade. So, put that all together. What's happened is we're still, just for today on this stock, we've made over $20,000 on it. But we have been as high as $35,000 on it during the day. But hey, good stock there. And this all follows having made $32,000 back here only 2 days ago. So this has just been an unbelievable stock. And I can't see it going down anytime soon when they're working on the coronavirus vaccine. Okay, now let's look at another one that I don't want to say this is a disappointment. It wasn't, but it's a roller coaster. Yesterday, this is TVIX, which is an inverse market stock. So this thing's going to go up as stocks are falling. We bought this on a gap yesterday. We bought the gap. It closed very favorably yesterday. I can't remember the exact number, but with that massive down opening this morning, 700, 800 points in the Dow, it just leaps up here. And pulled back a little, but then it rallied. And right up here, with less than an hour to go, about the time I took that screenshot with 68 minutes to go, TVIX was up $26,000. That's what we had in it. And then the last 30 minutes or so, it really fell quite a bit here. So it fell from 26,000 to where it on the close here, we're up 16,000. So that's still not a bad trade at 16,000, but it shed quite a bit of equity there that last half hour. And we have this identical situation in UVXY. We have two of these going for us. So, as I say, I prefer the Dow opens down, and it opens down hard. We'll make a ton of money. If it opens up, we're going to lose some of this, but we'll take it as it comes. And then finally, we were most fortunate today because we had inverse energy stocks coming out the ears. We were basically short energy and DWT, ERY, and this stock, which is DRIP, DRIP, which is inverse oil and gas exploration. And we had bought this yesterday, midday. It had actually closed slightly against us, but then it jumps way up this morning and keeps going. And unlike TVIX and UVXY, it just did a little pullback here, not very much at all. And we are holding positive $22,000 in this stock, in open trade equity, $22,000. And we have two other stocks that pretty much mirror this situation. They're not quite as much equity, but they're quite a bit. And so you can see we have a lot of very big trades here, and that's why we're holding 106,000 in open trade equity over the weekend, and that's down from 146,000. These numbers are just unbelievable. Anyway, all I can say is, I'm going to try I'm not going to worry about this over the weekend. Hey, I think it was a great day, but we haven't closed anything out yet. I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't tell you. What we did close out today was negative $3,000. Not very much, but we had some dogs in there we had to dump that were not these short positions. So we closed out 3,000, and we're carrying 106, and this could go either way by big numbers on Monday. We'll just have to wait and see. This is Trader Bob signing off. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be back here on Monday.